Well, hey guys, somewhere on the trail here, and I just got back from my latest through hike. I decided to do the Ouachita Trail this year. A lot of you might remember that I still had like 30 miles to go and kind of been hesitant to get up there and do it, and so I just decided, well, why not go up there and do it and do the whole trail. That way I could complete my triple O, and I could also say that I had through hiked all of the trails. Since I had done Ozark and Ozark Highlands, I wanted to go ahead and do the Ouachita Trail and have it as a complete through hike as well. So I want to go over some of the stuff that I carried with me this year, and most of it is the same as the Ozark Trail. There's a few changes, but anyway, I'm going to jump right into it to try to keep this video rolling quick. So I'm going to start with electronics, and the first thing I'm going to show you is the camera that I used, which is the Sony Action Cam. You've probably seen it before. I think it's the FX3000, but pretty good little camera, nice and light. So really do enjoy the camera. Got the little underwater case that I carry with it for underwater shots, and when it's raining I can still do some of the walk-by shots, just put it in the case, and that works out really well. And let me see if I can pull this over here a little bit more so I don't have to keep reaching. Got my Anchor battery charger with cable and everything. This has been a really great little charger. I actually have another one, and I probably will get a newer one because they seem like they're getting kind of old and they're not charging as fast as they used to. And anyway, I got my little lens cloth, and then I carry this little case and I put my batteries in there. I've got 5 of these, and I just keep them in this little hair tie, and then as I take them out and use them, then I know whichever ones are still in the hair tie are the ones that are charged, and then the other ones are not. So that's kind of how I keep up with that. And I also keep my little SD cards in there. I usually carry several just in case one gets corrupted or something, because it's happened to me before and I want to make sure that I'm able to film it out. So I just kind of put all this stuff in here, and it keeps it nice, and you know, if I fell in water that would just kind of float. So a couple other little things I carry in here. I've got my little tripod that I carry. I usually carry a bigger one, but I didn't this time. Got my stick pick, of course. That helps me with the underwater shots. Just a few other, like I got a little battery charger for the camera, the little mount for the... I do still take my phone, and I like to take all my still photos on my phone and just do video on the 4K cam. I'm not really wild about the pictures on that. Got this little bag that I keep all the electronics in. I actually found this on the Ozark Trail, so it's pretty cool. And I got a Nightcore headlamp finally. Really like this. Do not regret this at all. I was so tired of carrying that little flashlight that I had. But anyway, I just kind of dump every bit of this in this bag, and I just keep it in there, and then at night I slide it into like a hat or something. Also have a little cable for the headlamp. And so that's pretty much it on the electronics. So I'm going to go ahead and pause here and grab some other stuff, and I'll be right back, okay? Hold on, people. Alright, well, I thought I'd go over some of the stuff I carry in my food bag, which I do carry. Still have the same food bag. It's the Granite Gear 16 liter top zip bag, which I really, since I bought it, I have never gone back to using. I used to use the Z-Pack bear bag, and I have never used it since I got this, and I really love this bag, and when it wears out, I'm sure I'll buy another one just like it. It's been so great. Got the little BSR stove that everyone carries. Still working, still love that. Got my Toaks titanium spoon, really like that. This is just stuff that I put in here. I got some fire straws, I've got a lighter, nail clips, got some patch kits for the thermarest. I got a multi-tool in here. I'm not sure if I've ever really shown you that, but it's just a cool little, from the people that make Swiss Army knives, and it's got all the little gadgets on it. They used to have a little flashlight, but it doesn't work anymore, but that's okay. I really like it for the pliers and the knife. And it's real small, and I just keep it on the pouch of my pack for easy use. Keep hand sanitizer in there. Got my same old Tokes, I believe it's 450 milliliters. I'm not even sure, but I've never ever cooked in any pot that I've carried. I only fill it up, I just eyeball it, kind of about a half inch, quarter inch from the top, and just pour that into my freezer bag or mountain house, whatever I'm using on that trip. Got a camp towel here. This is from Z-Packs, light load towels, and I dropped the other one, but this is what it looks like when you first get it. It's in this little tiny super compressed thing, and then you open it and folds out. And I use this to wrap my little BSR or BRS, whatever, the little stove in here. I don't carry the little pouch with it. I'm trying to get away from carrying 100 pouches with me. Carry this little spotting scope with me, like if I come to a really cool overlook or just want to look way off in the distance. Sometimes I've used it to look for the next blaze on a tree. And it's a really cool little thing just to have with you. It's super light, and so I really just enjoy having it. Sometimes I forget. I carry it on the outside of my pack. And next I'm going to show you my rain gear, which is pretty much unchanged. Still have the Euroskerm umbrella. Love it. I haven't used it a whole lot. I carry it a lot, but this is probably the most I used it on this latest trip because it did rain more than usual instead of snowing and sleeting like last year. Still got the Outdoor Research Helium 2 rain jacket, which I really just love this jacket. I mean, it's been great as an extra layer. You've seen probably that I slip it over my sleeping bag on the end so it doesn't touch the edge of the tent and get wet at night, and really love this thing. Probably the only thing I wish is that it had pockets. That's the only thing I really miss on it. I like this pocket up here, but not as great as having them down here, but still really have no complaints on it. It's been great. The rain kilt. This is my Z-Packs rain kilt, and this thing, I just love it. It's been so great. Every time I've had to use it, it's really just, you know, from like here just below your knee, you'll stay dry, and you know, you get wet anyway, your shoes and everything from walking through a water-filled trail. So I don't really worry too much about here down, as long as I'm pretty dry from the knees all the way up. And with the umbrella, the raincoat, and the rain kilt, I do stay really dry when I'm hiking. And this is my Z-Packs pack cover. It's in here because somewhere on this hike I dropped the little had a tiny little stuff sack, and there were some other hikers that I passed, and they were going to look for it. They were going, we crossed paths, and we actually camped in a shelter one night, and they were going to look for it for me. I gave them my information in case they found it, but I guess they didn't find it. I've never heard from them, but it's not really any big deal. And so let me take another quick pause, and I'm going to grab some more stuff to show you, so I'll be right back. Okay, these are just a few of the little accessories that I carry with me. This is just kind of a little dry bag that I put everything in, my electronics and everything. I slide in here at night. I put clean clothes in here, and just about anything that I don't want to use a stuff sack for, I put in here. Cuban fiber Z-Packs bag, really great, super light, no complaints on that, I really love it. I finally broke down and bought one of these Thermarest Z seats, and I'll tell you, the first few days I was on trail, I wasn't really sure how much I needed it. In fact, I kept forgetting that it was in my pack, and I wouldn't even take it out until I was ready to leave, and then I'd go, oh yeah. And later on it started raining, and then I would say that it came in really handy. At first I was thinking, well, I may not really even need this. It's super light, so it didn't matter, but I think that on my next hike I probably will take it with me, because my next hike is going to be longer than this one, and it did prove to be pretty useful in the long run. A couple other little things I carry. I have my brush in here for my hair with a broken handle. I have an extra cap for my water bottles, so at night if I have to sleep with the Sawyer filter, I can put the cap back on the bottle. And also in here, if I can get in here, I have a couple other little Sawyer pieces. I have a little rubber filter because mine actually fell out, and it's got a hair on it. I actually, mine fell out, and I bought this in Mount Ida and stuck it in my filter. There's actually two of them here, but it takes two of them to be as thick as the one that fell out, so I just figured I'd keep it in case that happens again. And then I also have another little top for the Sawyer in case I were to lose that, because I kind of like having that so it doesn't get too nasty. I don't normally carry it with this brush. I usually put it in my side pouch, but normally in here I would also have toothpaste and a toothbrush. And the one thing I don't have today is the Sawyer filter. I went ahead and threw it away because it froze. I'm not sure if it was working, and given their $19, I just went ahead and threw it away. So I've got my whistle that I always carry just in case, my deuce of spades that I've had forever. I like this. A lot of people say you don't need that you can use a tent stake, but I don't know, man. In the Ozark and Ouachita Mountains, it's pretty rocky, and I don't think you could really dig a hole with a tent stake. Not very easily anyway. It's hard with that. And with that, let's get on to the tent. On the first leg, I carried a new tent that I had never used, and it was the Big Agnes Copper Spur HVUL2. So it's a two-man tent, and I do like it. It's got the poles with it, and I believe in here, I think I stuck the, I made a little polycryo ground sheet for it, and I cut that out myself and did a really poor job, I must say. But I do like the tent. I love Big Agnes tents. I took that on the first 7 days, but I cached. I did the cache system again, but my middle cache I left at the Bluebell Cafe in Story, Arkansas, and so I thought since that was the halfway point, I would leave my Z-Packs duplex tent there in Story with my stuff, and I'm really glad I did, because I did decide after 7 days of using the Big Agnes that having the tent, you know, the tent body and the rainfly and all the poles and the polycryo and the stakes, it just seemed like a lot of hassle, especially on the last morning I used it. I got caught in the rain, and so I switched out to the good old duplex for the second half, and man, I'm so glad I did, because I really have grown to love this tent. I wasn't as wild about it in the beginning, but I really have grown to love it. I got the normal tent stakes. I've got some of the V stakes for really tough, you know, it'll really hold, like I put them on the ends and where the trekking poles are. They have some normal little graphite. They're all lightweight. And so that's pretty much what I did. I used the Big Agnes the first 7 days and then switched to the duplex and used that the last 7 days. I still have my good old Black Diamond click lock core candle trekking poles, and I mean I've had them for, gosh, I mean I used them on my first hike in 2014, and the only thing I've ever done is replace the tips one time, and they have just been super awesome. And I actually left them at the trailhead in Story when I got picked up, and I was really concerned they weren't going to be there when I got back, because that's where I switched to my duplex tent, and so it really wouldn't have worked without the trekking poles. But luckily they were there, thank God. It was a super cold day and rainy and nobody wanted to go out, and so that was great. And let's see what else I got here. I got the same Thermarest sleeping pad that I've had, still patched, still holding. 1.1 pound, I think, but man, it's just, I will never go hiking without that thing. I just love it so much. And then of course, this is kind of my, I think sort of the crown jewel of my hiking, and that is this sleeping bag. The Z-Packs regular zip long sleeping bag. I mean, I've been in extreme conditions. I mean, this is a 20-degree bag, and I've been multiple nights in weather that was well under 20 degrees. In fact, one night it got down to 15, maybe even colder where I was. I happened to be near water, and again, I was fine with this thing. I mean, I do wear sleep clothes, but this thing is just I mean, if something ever happens to it, I will definitely be buying another one, because I just love this sleeping bag, and I can't imagine switching and using anything else. It's just been fantastic, and I just love it. And I also have the other bag I showed you is the bag that the sleeping bag came in, but I bought this other one that flips around and has the felt side, and I've been using this for a pillow. And I did start out with a little climate pillow, and I just, after 2 or 3 days, decided I don't like it. So this stuff in my clothes in here is way more comfortable, and I tried to get used to the little inflatable one, and I had one before that was real big. I quit using that, and I thought maybe the small one would be better so I wouldn't hear my heart pounding when I turned over on my side, but I did, so I switched back. And last but not least, I still have the old Arc Blast backpack, and it came apart again on me a few times. The frame did up here, but I just keep putting it back together and tightening it down, and everything seems really great. And I love the setup. Like I said, I get my underwater case and everything in here. I get my Propel and all the other stuff in here. My multi-tool, my Sony camera in here, my phone in here, and I've got a little what do you call it, buff in there that I bought. I bought that for $1 at Dollar General in Mount Ida, because it wasn't supposed to get down to 15 degrees, but they changed the forecast. And I have one more thing. Let me grab this. I'm not really going over my clothes on this because they're pretty much all the same. I still have the green puffy jacket and my sleep clothes. Everything's still the same. And of course, I wanted to talk about this, the Ultra Olympus, and these look pretty beat up now, but they were pretty old before I went on this hike, and I do have a new pair. I have a new pair on right now, and I actually have another brand new pair in the closet of the 3.5s, but these, man, I'm telling you, with the Injinji socks, just cannot be beaten for me. I would never hike without Ultras, because I love the big wide toe box, like we've talked about, how your foot can really spread out, and you can even see that my toe was starting to come through this side, which I must have weird feet, because almost all of my ultras, that's eventually I get a hole there. And you can see a lot of the stitching came undone, the toe guard is kind of coming off, but man, my feet were really comfortable on the whole hike, and actually did better than any hike I've ever been on. Oh, and that reminds me, there's one thing I don't have up here, is I have about a little tiny tennis ball, like that big, and every night religiously I took that ball and I rubbed like my calves, around my shin, ankles, and the bottom of my feet, and I probably seriously spent about 20 to 25 minutes on each leg. So I probably did about 45 minutes each night, and I will tell you that I recovered from this hike 10 times faster than any other hike. Like, I had massive problems when I got done with the Ozark Trail. It took my Achilles tendons, I mean, I didn't walk for probably 6 months. They hurt for so long. I was actually quite concerned and thought I might have to go to the doctor, but eventually it worked out, and I had issues after Ozark Highlands Trail because of all the weight I carried. My knees and my IT band hurt so much for probably about 6 weeks, but after trying this new thing and really taking better care of my feet, yeah, I'd say that the pads in my feet were a little sore for a few days, but other than that, when I got back, I probably, within a week, was completely 100% ready to go and could have gone on another long hike, and that's never happened. Now, I also did cut my miles down too. I tried not to do anything. I bet I probably didn't do a day over 17 miles, and that may even be a stretch. I tried to keep it around like 13 to 16 miles a day instead of doing 18 to 22, which I normally had tried to push, and so I'm done with that. I'm never doing that again. My next hikes I'm going to be doing just normal stuff. So anyway, like I said, I'm not going to go over the clothes. That's pretty much all the stuff that I used on this. Pretty much the same gear that I've had, with a few new things like a new tent, the Z seat, and a few minor things. But other than that, I'm going to try to put this out in a 5-part series instead of doing every day. It maybe have one extra day, so it could turn into 5 parts and then one day at the end. But anyway, I hope that you'll be looking for those videos. They'll be coming soon, and with that, I'll see you somewhere on the trail. You guys take care.